Yo, this is Daniel Barquero. He is the owner, founder, and CEO of Brazil's fastest growing bank, Banco Master. Banco Master went from $1.5 billion in deposits in 2001 to $9 billion in deposits in 2024. This is a 900% increase in their deposits. Now, this might be okay for a company like Nvidia, which quadruples and triples its money and revenue every single year. But for a bank, and especially a bank that's based not in America, this is unheard of. This is one of the fastest growing banks in the world. And this made the CEO, Daniel Barquero, a very wealthy man. And he made sure the world knows about it. He's hosted parties that would probably put Diddy to shame. He spent, just on his daughter's birthday, $4 million. And he had the very trendy chain smokers at the party to do a show for them. And now this next part might be hyperbole because I haven't found any sources for this, but for the birthday, he built a cake in Sao Paulo and he moved it with his private jet to the birthday party. This puts my DoorDashes to shame, man. He's also got infinite properties all over the world. He's got a $37 million mansion in Florida, an $85 million waterfront mansion in Miami. $85 million. Like, what the home made of? And on top of that, just when he gets bored of the waterfront mansion, right across the street, he also bought a $7 million non-waterfront house. And to top it all off, in Brazil, he also has a $50 million property. And just for the fun of it, he gifted a $4 million apartment to one of his influencer friends, which is accused of being money laundering right now. And for his crown jewel, Banco Master, the bank that made him a billionaire, he bought London's most expensive office lease. Banco Master has signed up for the capital's most expensive rent at 122 euros per square feet. Now, let me remind you, this is a bank based in Brazil. They have zero business in London, but he bought the most expensive lease there, just to flex. He also owns multiple private jets, like the Gulfstream, the Falcon 7X, and the Falcon 2000. And these are just the ones that we know of. There's probably multiple others that his company owns. And these aren't no rideshare or leased jets. He owns these fully in cash. They serve him. He's moving like Taylor Swift. He also owns a bunch of shitty investments in football clubs that are costing him around $100 million for an 8.2% stake. And to top it all off, like the final bow on all this shit, $100 million in lawyer fees. That's what he owes to his lawyer firm. It's really funny that his legal fees cost more than him buying a football club, but we'll get to that in a second. He's been able to throw around hundreds of millions of dollars like it's nothing. Even for a billionaire, this is not a cheap lifestyle. This is very expensive. So where exactly is he getting all this money from? Our young friend Daniel Barquero wasn't born into a particularly wealthy family, with his father only being a real estate broker. But Daniel was able to leverage the real estate family business into buying out a small real estate lender called Banco Maxima. This wasn't a full-blown bank, it was just a real estate lender. But Daniel Barquero was able to rebrand Banco Maxima in the early 2000s into what we now know as Banco Master and turn it into a full-blown bank that lends people money, borrows their money, holds and stores money, everything a bank would do normal. But there was a big, major question mark on the bank. How does a young startup bank in the big 2025 get new customers when they're already locked into other banks that they like and are trusted? Well, Daniel Barquero came up with the brilliant idea of giving away free money. He did this through CDBs. In a CDB, someone like you or me will give Banco Master $100. And Banco Master will lock this money up for a set amount of time. Let's say they'll lock up the money for around a year. And after a year, you will get back a guaranteed return on top of your initial $100, which will be around 14%. So you would get $114 back after a year, which is a pretty good deal because considering the S&P 500 would only net you 6% in a year. So this is more than double the S&P 500. People like these CDBs because instead of letting your extra money just sit around in a savings account, which only gets like a measly 2% return on your money, you can lock up your money. Now you can't use this money, it's locked, but you can lock this up and you'll get a much higher return. So Banco Master offered these CDBs, but not at a 14% return, which is what most of the Brazilian banks were giving. Banco Master was offering a 26% return on their CDBs. This was 90% more than what other banks were giving. From 14%, instead of that, they were giving 26%. This is unheard of. Fixed income yielding 190% of the CDI rate. See why Banco Master CDBs are booming. So what this means is the CDI rate, which is 14%. Banco Master, if it was going to give the entire 14%, it would be giving 100%. But it is giving 190% of the 14%, which comes out to 26%, which is an insane amount. Like most banks don't even give the full 100%, they would give a little bit less. But Banco Master was going way above that. And on top of this 26% on CDBs was guaranteed money. It was supposed to be guaranteed because of the Brazilian Credit Guaranteed Fund, which covers up to $250,000 per person, even if the bank were to go bankrupt. So, the rules for the Credit Guarantee Fund guarantees up to $250,000 per individual in case of liquidation of financial institutions. So even if Banco Master was to go bankrupt, they would still get paid out up to $250,000. So they could offer really high returns, but these high returns were covered by all the other banks, which is why Banco Master was allowed to go this crazy. So with people seeing a guaranteed high return without any risk, this is why they jumped ship and moved to Banco Master like crazy. These two things turned the bank that no one has ever heard of into the fastest growing bank in Brazil that was signing the most expensive leases in London. The bank went from handling less than $1 billion in 2004 to $10 billion in 2025. But again, there's another big problem. This frat boy over here now needs to invest all this money that people have given him and create a return greater than Warren Buffett and the S&P 500 combined. Like, good luck, man. So let's take a look at exactly how he was investing all this money and get a 30% return each year minimum.